On down out here in Ostia, Rome, right on the seaside, and the lights are coming on. You hear the buzzer go off, the crowd are ready. We've got absolutely jam-packed stand. And some of the biggest names in skateboarding are out here. Some absolute powerhouses. Yo, he's got it done!
Oh, let's get it.
It's the fact that everyone from around the world gets to come and skate this event. And to win or to do really well in an event like this means a lot because you're striving to be one of the best skaters in the world. I don't think anyone here is striving to be any less than that.
The best feeling when you can hear everyone screaming because you've known that you've done the best you can.
Oh my goodness, on the edge of my seat.
Oh, the buzzer!
There we go.
Getting it done out onto that railing. Oh, changing it up.
To do it under pressure, but obviously it's a really big moment.
Wow, Nia Lasso. And he's saying, what do you think of that, Rome? Coming through. I don't know. Good afternoon and welcome to Ostia, Rome for the first World Cup event of 2025. I'm Mark Churchill and joining me on commentary today is the incredible Mitchie Brusco.
Thank you, Mark. I am so excited to be here.
Mitchie, I am stoked to be back at the seaside, but what are your expectations for today's competition?
You know who I'm looking at? Lola Tambling. She had a heartbreaking miss last year, missing finals by 1 slot. She's been working super hard at the Concrete Wave in the UK, and I want to see her get through today.
And we have a load of new names on the park today.
And it's not easy to be a rookie in semifinals. You can get in your head very quickly. Just get a rundown.
Yeah, and especially hard against such a stacked field of athletes.
Yep, and in that stacked field, we have a girl named Nia Lasso, who at the LQS broke her collarbone and then dropped in the contest anyways to get her points and then gets top 10 in the Olympics.
Yeah, and we've seen over 180 competitors from 51 different countries in the bowl, including the World Skateboarding Ranking Top 8. Who's leading the charge, though, Mitchie?
Well, in that top 8, we have last year's winner, Heike Ventura. Make sure you look out for her clean tricks and smooth style, but her pump, where she can go, she has that extra gear where she can go super fast and she wants to add tricks this year.
And we have 2023's winner, former world champion and Paris silver medalist, Japan's Kokona Hiraki, sitting in that second place spot. And leading the pack is Olympic champion Arissa True.
I cannot say enough good things about Arissa True. She's one of the greatest transition skaters ever. And think about it like this. She's one of the only people I've ever been able to talk to about 900s and switch 540s.
So there are two things to be aware of as we start our competition. The World Skateboarding Ranking wasn't reset after the Olympic Games, and it carries on as a rolling ranking. And what does that mean? Well, in the case of Park World Cup events, an athlete's 3 best results within an 18-month window determine the overall points and position on the leaderboard. And if we look at Nia Lasso, for example, having made semis today, she will drop that 399 score and will be moving up the ranking.
And to put it into perspective, top 10 in this event is worth more than 10,000 points. So she's not just dropping 399. She's going to make a huge improvement.
And that brings us on to the second point. Each country can register a maximum of 3 athletes to a World Cup event. On top of that, all athletes in the top 30 are pre-registered with the restriction of a maximum of 6 skaters per country. Looking at USA Skateboarding, that means Bryce Wettstein, Ruby Lilly, Jordan Barrett, Mina Stess, Jordan Santana and Grace Marhofer were pre-registered for this event. Minna and Jordan competed here but didn't get through, unfortunately. But looking at the points, all of them are sitting pretty comfortably in that top 30. Well, that's quite a lot to take in, so if you want to take a closer look, jump onto the World Skate website if needed. And it's time to get into that action and take a look at our start list for women's semi-final heat number 1.
It's a stacked field for heat number 1. Make sure you keep an eye on Dora Varela with her clean tricks, smooth style. Rui Sugawara, who is May's sister. May isn't out here today, but Rui is in the semifinals. And Fernanda Tanisi, strong Brazilian skater.
Yeah, Brazil, a huge, passionate history in skateboarding as we drop in our first skater of the women's semi-finals. So much has to be done to get to this point. Okay, Elena Lorino getting in, carving up those corners to start things off. Big backside 50-50 over the bridge.
Just really getting in there quick to set the tone, start this whole event.
Kicking that front foot off. Cruising through that corner. Backside air. How important is it to start your run strongly and do something that feels good, Mitchie?
Especially as a younger rider. Starting strong with a McTwist in the middle of your run. This will really help her keep her feet under her as we move later in the comp.
Yeah, and it's a confidence booster as well. Lovely backside nose grind. Did well to hang on to that.
Way to hold on that squat through the flat bottom.
Got time for one more hit into the deep end. Going to be nearly on the buzzer.
Just a phenomenal run from Helena.
Well, sometimes you've just got to get that first run out of the way. If you're the first rider in the heat, it's so nerve-wracking. Everybody's quiet, watching, waiting for you to drop in.
Everyone in this heat is so thankful that she just made her first run. It kind of takes the weight off of everyone.
Well, that can sometimes be infectious as well. You see everybody start landing their first run.
Yep, that's exactly what we're looking for.
So judges, fresh day of judging, resetting all of the scores. We're waiting for that first one to come in. We've got great condition out here today.
Yeah, nice weather, overcast, not too hot. A little gusty, but yeah. I think it's pretty tame right now.
Well, we're pretty close to the coast. Oh, starting things off, 71. Great score to start off the competition with. We're going to be staying with Team Brazil as well. As we move on to Dora Varela. Looking pretty focused up there on the flat bank. Seems to be quite a popular way to start the run. A lot of people starting with that big carve, getting loads of speed up to hit the bridge.
Yep, whether you want to hit the bridge backside or frontside, that's basically the decision.
See Dora taking that familiar line. Straight in, lovely backside Smith grind.
Nice back Smith, dipping the nose well under the coping, standing on her back foot.
AKA the Monty grind. Back second hit over the bridge. Oh, just getting away from her there. That's maybe a speed issue, do you think?
I wonder if she was just going a little bit faster, if she would have confidence to stand on the tail slide.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can come out of a trick, and if you've not hit that point that you're familiar with, it can throw off your timing. It may not make a difference, but mentally it can have that issue.
Speed is always the hardest thing to change. If you could have the same speed for every single run, I think everyone would be much more consistent.
Yeah, and I mean, it's both not having enough speed or too much.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes out of that deep end.
You can easily end up with just too much speed.
So 20.93, the beauty of this format, 3 runs of 45 seconds, best run counts. And we're only taking the top 8 through to finals tomorrow as we take it over to Team Spain's Julia Benedetti. I caught up with Alain Goycochea earlier, their manager and mentor, a very accomplished skateboarder, and he said focus. He just kept repeating focus. And that's what they're looking at Team Spain right now, staying focused.
They have a very strong team this year. Nice tail slide in the deep end corner.
We know Julia's got a big backside tail slide as well. Super style on every mile. Back 50-50, dropping back into that midsection.
It's so hard to ollie out of a 50-50.
back into the deep end. Lovely backside Smith.
Really leaning on those grinds, mixing it up a fair bit in the run.
But doing it in the corner, a lot can go wrong, and I think the judges know that. They're going to be rewarding that. Oh, that was
really
right on the buzzer.
sound, really great run. Mixing it up with a bunch of different lip tricks in and out of the deep end with big airs. It was a really nice run from Julia.
Yeah, really well-rounded. And I mean, when you've got a line in your corner, you're doing well. That guy is an absolute hero.
And she's got a lot of room now to improve and to just play. When you get your first run down, it just opens you up so much.
So, 71 the score to beat. I think this maybe had everything to be able to take that score. I do think that Julia's going to have to switch up some of those tricks. Maybe over the bridge, big backside 50-50 can be changed up. And, you know, even a 5-0 would multiply that score. 77.45.
A well-deserved first place with the current standings. Just when you see those little things like the big stale fish in the deep end to finish the run, where she really finished strong, where maybe Lorino can upgrade that ending of her run.
So Isadora Kusheko looking ready to drop in for run number one, starting in a different position and in that deep end. Oh, just missing that elbow air. Maybe first run nerves, do you think?
I think that was just a mental mistake. Whatever it is, you just got to focus. You got to dial in where you're looking, ignore the crowd, ignore how big the situation is, and just get through it first try.
Yeah. I mean, I think going back to that speed issue, dropping in that part of the bowl, I think that's a clever strategy because you can maybe get an extra trick in if you can speed up that run.
That's exactly what she was thinking. Starting in, like, drop in quick trick will give you a huge advantage.
So 2.2 coming in as we move on to Ruiz Sugawara. Carving round straight into that bridge. Whoa!
Oh, holding on to the backsmith, but
it's lifted up.
Wow. Frontside rock slide in the deep end. Already, technically speaking, the tricks are so hard.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how she held on to that backside Smith, but it was
accidentally turning into a 5-0.
But something potentially going wrong like that, that can give you the adrenaline spike and really spice the run up.
Just a lot of speed, a really nice big air. Landed a little bit low, is going to have to pick it back up.
Feeble grind to fakie on that 10-second
mark. See how this finishes. Cab back disaster. Don't let her cleanliness fool you.
Oh, that will count. So this is the thing. If you commit to a trick on the buzzer and you don't make it, you're going to get scored down because of the bail and not having a complete run. And at this stage in the competition, complete runs are so vital.
You know, you're allowed to pop out onto the deck at the buzzer. That's not considered a bail, although maybe you left a trick on the table. But if you bail, that is going to hurt your score so much.
And you can see that disappointment, but 2 more runs to go, it's not over.
But look how high her score is anyways with a bail. This is what I was just about to say, is don't let her cleanliness fool you. Those tricks are so hard.
Yeah, taking it to Great Britain's Lola Tamblyn. Someone who's not been very well this weekend and managed to get through to semi-finals. Being a bit poorly yesterday, but looking very focused.
And one thing I noticed about Lola compared to last year, she's so strong, and it looks like she has this next level of confidence.
Yeah, starting off with that big backside air, taking it through the corner pocket with the frontside Smith grind. Seen a completely different run than we've seen from her before. Similar tricks.
Back-to-back Smith.
Wow.
I really like that rock slide into the deep end over the hip. That is so cool.
And pointing that frontside feeble through that corner as well. Taking the boneless off the bank.
Fixing up her helmet for match speed.
Big frontside 50-50 over the bridge. Eyeing up to grind into the deep.
You just got to hold on now.
Frontside 540, getting it round. Still time to squeeze one last one in over the spine and a backside air.
That is all Lola can ask for.
That was a solid run, but not everything she's got to give. There can be improvements on that from what Lola's been saying.
But Smith grinds both directions.
Yeah.
A rodeo or unit in the deep end, a back 180 over the spine. Great use of park and good tricks to match. And look at this rock and roll slide into the deep end, look how much you got to twist up your body as you're locking into the rock slide, and then be so patient as it rotates on the way out.
And she's got a complete own way of doing that trick as well. Slides in on the back wheels and then spinning around that unit.
And even though that back 180 over the spine is a little bit slower than other tricks, technically it's super difficult and you're blind the whole time.
81.15 for run number 1 for Lola Tamblyn. She's looking very happy with that, and rightly so.
That is going to be hard to knock her out of the finals.
But that's a massive confidence booster to get that out of the way in run number 1. She's now got 2 runs to improve on.
Yes, that is, I believe that's the run she came here for.
Okay, Fernanda Tonisi, 18 years of age. Dropping in up on that big flat bank. You hear the crowd going wild for her. Taking that familiar line, you can see pumping off the bottom of that hip. Oh, that backside Smith seems to be a bit of a problem for people today.
Yeah,
I'd be interested to see whether the wax is melting a little bit with the heat.
That's what I was just going to say. Maybe with this heat, you're in that back Smith, and whenever you see those front wheels start to float into the air, you know that you're grinding faster than you expected.
Yeah, 2.02 coming through. So 2 more scores to get through, and we have got skateboard royalty joining us out there on the platform. Letitia Buffoni giving us a wave and saying hello to all of you joining us at home as we take it over to Team Japan. Sakura Suzumi, someone who is so comfortable on transition skateboarding, and you're going to see just how smooth she is, taking that frontside air into the deep. Yeah, big frontside grab, frontside air, lean tail slide.
And it always surprises me. Sometimes the smooth skaters are just going so fast, you don't even notice.
Yeah. She's got that stand-up style. She lands a trick, stands up.
Oh, it's the best. Doing really strong technical lip tricks like the back tail in the deep end corner. Frontside feeble, frontside blunt on the bank.
Stopping almost in time for a cup of tea on that.
Backside melon, 540, squatting a little bit on the way out, but it didn't affect her speed at all.
You know what with Sakura? Sometimes she doesn't put the 540 in first run, and we're seeing that and the heel flip Indy.
540.
She's not messing around.
Heel flip, great lip tricks, great use of park. Carries a lot of speed. Like you said, stands up the whole time. I'm expecting a high score.
Well, we know she's got the Ollie 540 as well. If that could be sprinkled in, how do you think that would change?
Well, all I know is she left room for improvement, and it's going to be really hard to kick her out of the finals with what she just put down. I think she can take a breath and look at the rest of the contest, see how it's scored, and then make her own guess if that Ollie 5 is necessary.
But remember, in heat number 2, another 8 skaters to go, including Kokona Hiraki, Arissa True, Nia Lasso in there as well. So everyone is going to know that, and they're going to try and put the best run down for a chance to get through. 84.41. She's looking very, very happy. Huge score, and sees that out there in first place so far, just in front of Lola Tamblyn. So we got our judges booth up there, and they're headed up by Renton Miller. We've got Mike Pragnell in there, Pat Duffy in the mix. Someone who knows about what is good on a skateboard, it's certainly him. Chloe Bernard in there from France as well. A very, very heavy judging panel, and we're taking it back to the top of the heat, and runs number 2 back to where we started. Elena Lorino dropping in the deep end.
Now we're looking for upgrades, changes, or improvements,
especially for people who have got that full rundown.
And it can be something as simple as adding just a little bit of speed. The judges see those kind of things.
Oh, they are so critical. And they're looking for people pushing themselves, and execution is a big thing.
They know what it's like to be out there. They know how much a little bit of speed changes your strat. Wow, nice McTwist in the deep end, hanging up the back truck just a little bit on the way in.
I tell you what, the filming on that was superb as well, and there you go.
That was
step up, second.
Body varial 540, which means she's grabbing mute on the way out and then switching the board around to melon during the 540.
So we know what's to come for run number 3, and it's all going to matter. dare I say, anyone outside of mid-80s is going to struggle to get through.
You want to be in that top spot, maybe second place.
And it's going to take a trick like a varial.
Look at this McTwist.
5.
Look at the McTwist. Look at the back trucks hang up on the coping on the way in. This is so scary when it happens to you.
Oh, wow.
You're an inch away from a disaster.
I mean, that's basically a McTwist pivot. That's so crazy. I don't know how she had the determination to stay on that. Any other day, you would go, no, thank you. I've gone out over the platform. I'm leaving that.
You get in this position where if you're committed 100%, you can make a lot of tricks.
Okay. Dora Varela currently in 6th place, looking to make a difference to that.
To just get through this first trick and get started in a run. Nice.
Locking it in. Little bit of a pinch on the way in, but looking composed.
Her legs are just a little wobbly, and that can just be adrenaline. It's so hard to feel your feet.
Looked like the line was right this time for the frontside tail slide.
Nice.
Whoa!
And now she's holding on tight. Now she's letting this style really show through, being stronger. Smooth frontside 50-50 in the deep end corner.
Setting her back up over the bridge. 50-50, taking it to fakie.
Hitting the deep end one last time.
Looked like she changed her mind. I thought she was going to continue fakie, going into the deep end backwards, and was going to maybe do a different trick, but it looked like she went, nah, I'm not ready for that.
I wonder if that was a last-minute change. All I know is that feeble fakie, is if she can just be patient, she's going to have a little bit less speed than she wants because of that pivot in the flat bottom. But if she can just be patient and just agree to say, hey, we're going to come out in the middle of the corner. I don't need to grind all the way around it. I think she'll make the next one.
Well, trick blindness is a thing in a skateboard competition, especially at this level. You can practice and practice and practice, and then you get through the run, and you go, I've done the wrong trick.
Everybody's got stage fright before. Yeah. It can happen on your skateboard. You forget where you are. You realize there's a crowd. You don't know what to do next.
Yeah. So 66.43, great score with a fall. That is definitely going to be up there. She's going to need to really lock that run down, though.
Unfortunately, she doesn't really have room now to try to improve, and she's going to have to do a lot of guesswork of what's required in the third run.
Yeah. Okay, Giulia Benedetti, currently 3rd place, looking good, and I'm expecting something big in this second run from Giulia.
Now is the time to just let it fly.
Talking of flying big frontside air. To the deep end.
Feeble grind through the corner.
Way more speed on the way out this time.
Airing the volcano both ways. Super strong pump. I love how she actually hits her tail on the coping to ollie out of that 50-50.
Oh, no way. Just coming away from the lean to tail.
You can see her back foot moving around in the air on that last trick on the lean to tail. And I wonder if it's just because when you're out of breath, it's hard to control your feet. That is not something that happens if you were to try a lean to tail early in your run.
Yeah, I mean, the breathing side of things is so important.
Your heart's pumping, there's adrenaline, the oxygen's the only way you can control yourself.
42.26, so it is all on the line. 3rd place, 77.45. It's just not going to cut it, is it?
I don't think so, unfortunately. But she had a great first run and still has one more chance.
Well, we know she can do it. We'll get through as we move on to Isadora Ocheo. Taking it round front side in those corners, out into the deep end. Smith grind. Didn't quite lean on it enough. Like, you know, that's a back foot trick, right?
She had her first run, first wall bail. And this one only got a few seconds in. And that ollie to front Smith on the pool coping looks really nice. I think it's just a game of patience. Let your weight sit on the coping for a second, and then deal with it after.
But what would you say if you could jump down onto the platform now, whisper into her ear, how would you
Don't think about your skateboard, just breathe and connect to your feet. Aiming your feet is so hard.
Okay, Rui Sugawara currently in 5th place, 69.35. Needs a good 10 points on top of that.
And we're looking at this score, but she didn't get her through her run.
No.
And she put down a great score anyway, so a lot of room for the score to go up if she just finishes her last trick.
Well, it's a much better backside Smith grind, slide and rock and roll slider. Backside ollie back into that midsection of the bowl.
Backside grinder.
I love the hands on the thighs while pumping. A little bit extra power.
Backside air, bringing it back up into the midsection. Feeble grind to fake it. It's looking a lot more comfortable.
A very classic vert skating style. And this is her last trick that she fell on last time. Front side lip slide and holds on. And you know, she was smiling coming out. She loved that. It's kind of funny to have a sketchy front a sketchy front lip. As a skater, that's one you do safely to finish your run. And she still got a little wobbly.
Well, it counted, for sure.
It counted. Here is my favorite trick in the round, a frontside rock slide. I love how twisted up you have to be while you're sliding frontside.
The chiropractor's dream, that one. And then that, for execution-wise, you know, that was all the way round into the disaster.
A 100% execution score.
And then just hanging that back truck. She's going to need to get back up there and screw the coping back on.
It's funny that she was cracking up at the lip slide. I find that hilarious. Nervously waiting for her score.
78.84, big score coming through. She's going to have to sit and watch the next few scores come in and know what to do.
I think she's just one trick away from being in that first or second spot. That flip your board or a 540. Maybe she's there.
So currently in second place, Lola Tamblyn dropping in for run number 2.
I wonder where Lola has to go from that last run. I know that's what she came here wanting to do.
I know she's got aspirations for getting a full rundown with a certain couple of tricks. I want her to get to it, and I think now she's got a full rundown, she's got access to that.
Oh, and I love her style when she starts really pumping. She's got those snappy, quick pumps.
Yeah. Out onto the bank with the boneless.
I don't remember seeing that last run.
Taking it front side through the corners, building up that speed, up onto the bridge. Big front side 50-50.
And here we got the front side 5-0 and one more trick in the deep end. Rodeo, nice. And back 180 to finish strong. So yeah,
I think she tidied that up a bit.
I think she tidied it up a bit, but you notice her pump. So that is counted as a trick. When you're pumping harder into everything and going faster, the judges look at that as the same thing as adding a whole new trick to your run.
For sure. I think execution-wise, I think the frontside 50-50 over the bridge was a lot cleaner.
Yep.
The frontside 540 came around, looked way more stylish. You know, I think it's going to be improvement slightly.
The judges have to improve on the score, even if it's a couple tenths. I don't think it's enough to switch to first place, but it should be above 81.15, or at least very, very close if it's not.
There it is.
Yeah.
81.68 for Lola Tamblyn. And still one run to go.
Yeah, that's perfect. And she knows now what happens if she does her run with perfect execution.
Yeah. As we move on to Fernanda Tonisi. 84.42 to take the lead from herself. Cruising around those corners. Up onto the bridge. Backside Smith was way cleaner this time. Oh, what is happening?
I don't know. I couldn't see from the camera angle. It looked like just barely missing locking in on that back truck for the 50-50. And once you miss your back truck, you have nowhere to go.
Oh, it's such a scary place to be in, especially that high and coming towards the corner. So we'll be dropping that one. 11 points coming in. Making her way round into the start position. Okay, Sakura running onto her board, taking the frontside ollie into the bank. Frontside air to follow it up.
She is the current leader in this heat. Nice back tail in the corner. That is so hard to do, but when you make one, it feels just amazing.
But those little touches, like the backside 50-50, ollieing in off the extension, the judges are really going to reward that, and the long frontside feeble then as well.
Nice frontside blunt on the bank. Oh, she wants to stand that up, okay? Yeah. So I think she knew she could squat that one out, but that's not going to be an upgrade from last run. I think her upgrade right now in her head is pure execution on the 540.
Yeah,
squatting versus standing up will be a huge point.
And then maybe boosting that heel flip indie as well, just a little bit higher. And I mean, that's a wise competitive move there. It's not going to be an improvement. I'll throw this one away.
Very, very wise. No need to put yourself at risk. Here's a front blunt on the bank. Watch her shoulders turn way before the pop happens. 90-degree rotation, and then letting that board rotate all the way around and almost skating out backwards for a second.
I mean, that's one of her tricks, right? So good at that one. And like, as she lands and starts coming down the bank, she's already eyeing that corner up. And, you know, picturing where you're going is so important.
So cool to see.
61.33 with that fall. As we now take it back to the top of the heat, third and final runs. And coming up in our next heat, we've got Rika Ventura, Hinano Kasaki, Nia Lasso. So many big names, Michi.
And I'm looking at some of these names, just excited for some specific tricks like 540s or kickflip no grabs.
Yeah. Okay. Elena Laurino, currently 5th place. Third and final run. Straight into that bridge with the big backside 50-50, waving the arms to stay balanced a bit
looked
there.
like she was fighting just to get all the way over.
Winding the window down.
I want to see her pump as hard as she can through this run. You could hear her snap her tail on that takeoff.
Yeah, good dip there on the Monty grind. Into the deep end.
Clears the trucks. Yes. Stands up on the way out.
Frontside ollie out onto that bank down to the last 10 seconds.
Body varial 540 in the deep end.
Little hand direct after as well. Backside 5-0, just don't fall. There you go.
That run is good. That run is good.
How the special bar's up. She's still going. It won't count. But, wow.
That is not just an upgrade to a 540. That is a different trick entirely. Taking the board off and switching your feet around in the middle. It's not like just grabbing indie.
Yeah.
It is a massive, massive improvement.
And I'm expecting to see that in the score when it comes through. Let's check out these replays.
So watch on this body varial 540. Or switch her feet around on the board.
Well, we started with that McTwist, the Weddle 5.
Here it is. And fighting for it all the way through. Look at that back foot placement all the way on the side of the tail and just made it through sheer belief straight into an Andrecht.
Look at that. Wow. Do you know what was impressive as well? Is how quickly her feet changed. It went from Weddle to Melon, like, really quickly.
She disappeared out of frame and then comes up 0.1 seconds later ready to do a hand plant.
Yeah. So everyone's eyes on the board right now. That's going to be sending a message to the rest of the heat.
The judges are trying to figure this out.
74.86.
So that's a big improvement from her 71. I just think her base run needs a little bit more, but a 4-point improvement on one run is huge.
I'm expecting big things in the future from her for sure. As we take it over to Brazil's Dora Varela. Big backsmith. No, I was just about to say looking way more comfortable on that, but
I was going to talk about how clean
off.
It was. She's ready to go. I wonder what happened. I wonder if the coping of the small quarter pipe freaked her out on the way in.
Maybe. I mean, you're changing how you do the same trick depending on where it is in this park. We've got mellow quarters, small quarters. The spine's lower than the midsection. The deep end steep. Pull coping as well. There's so much going on, and you have to adapt and overcome.
You might see a lot of the same tricks, but you're never going to see two tricks in the same spot for different people.
Okay, taking it back to Giulia Benedetti. I want to see one of Giulia's big backside tail slides. She's looking very comfortable, but wants to improve from that 4th place. Oh, and coming off of that frontside air. The bridge seems to be a bit of a problem spot in the park.
That could be gusts of wind. It could be slowing him down on the way in a little bit.
Yeah, possibly. So Giulia will finish with that 77.45. We'll have to watch heat number 2 all skate to see if she can get through, but it's going to be tough.
You can just see the disappointment on her face where she had a great first run. That is a win. You're lucky to be able to improve on that, but that's a great job.
So, back to Isadora Pacheco. Currently 8th. Wants to finish higher. Starting off with that backside air over the elbow.
Want her to get into that halfway point of her run.
Getting it done this time.
There it is. A really nice Smith grind into the deep end. Well, great style.
Surely that's going to be the confidence boost she needs, and it certainly looks like that. Back into the deep end, lean tail slide.
Now she's in. Now you see that pump. It's like her body wakes up. Oh, her snap is strong. It's the strongest out of any of the girls in the field.
Looking so good on the front side feeble through the deep end corner.
You can see these pumps where board is almost surfing on the flat bottom, turning both left and right.
Lean into that corner pocket, frontside 50-50 to fakie, just stay on.
Incredible running,
that's going to be time.
She has so much feel on her skateboard. And to go from not making 1 or 2 tricks to putting down your whole run is incredible.
And doing it when it mattered. That's the thing, like calming down, not listening to the noises in your head and just going, let's just pay attention to the process, get it done.
The thoughts are going to creep in. And this Smith grind into the deep end, watch her pick up her front trucks before she drops in. That means you are so locked in on your back foot that you can float on the way in.
Yeah. Perfect execution on that.
Everything in that run was perfect execution.
And really nice tucked knee grab on the front side air. Landing in that corner pocket, set her up perfectly for the front side 50-50.
Little switch carve over the bottom of the hip. I admire it.
Well, you know what? That could be the thing that threw you off. Like, but she just cruised it.
Let's see where the score ends up.
I mean, it certainly had that excitement. We were both on the edge of our chairs then. It was great. Eyes on that scoreboard. Giving those judges a hard time.
Aggressive Brazilian style.
83.09 sees her jump ahead of Lola Tamblin and into that second place position just below Sakura. I mean, coming through in run number 3, it's a hard task when it's all there bearing down on your shoulders, but got it done. Okay, Rui Sugawara currently in 4th place with a 78.84. Carving through those corners onto the bridge.
Just a perfect stand-up back Smith. It looks like a walk in the park for her. Nice front side rock slide in the deep end. I'll never get over how clean that is.
So with her sister being world ranking number 8, how much does that benefit her, do you think?
Just being able to watch someone in your own family and compete against them. It has to be so valuable.
Back out the deep end. Taking the feeble grind to fakie.
All the way to the edge of the ramp.
There it is. Caballerial backside disaster. Big shout out to Stevie Cab. Whoa, what is going on that quad pipe today?
that last wall is her kryptonite.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on there, but she is fighting for her life to finish that last trick.
Do you know what? I think she just doesn't like the cope and she's trying to pull it off.
Maybe.
Just rip it out of the park.
Maybe. So I believe that was the only trick changed, was the end of the run, subbing out the lip slide for a front side tail slide. I don't know if that's going to be a big enough difference maker to switch places. And as you can see, 78.87.03 improvement on the score. And that comes from the execution. Even though it was more difficult, the execution wasn't perfect.
So only a couple of days ago, Lola was laying on the bathroom floor in pain, but she's got through it. And back
Something
in.
happened.
Oh, what's just happened there? What happened?
What happened there?
Maybe she thought that she dropped in early, or a little bit of confusion. I think she'll go and see our course manager and maybe ask for a rerun. I'm not sure whether there was something in the way or maybe someone on the platform or something like that, but we'll get confirmation of that. The timer's still running, though.
I think she said that she thought someone said wait as she was about to roll it.
Okay.
They have a system for this. The course manager will know what to do.
There's no way she would do that normally, is there? She wouldn't just jump out like that.
Make a decision.
Here, Darren getting involved in that competition, that conversation. I mean, there are systems in place for all of this.
Yeah, no, relax. We're gonna provide you the rerun.
You hear that? Okay. I think it's going to be a rerun.
Let's get ready.
Okay, yeah, I think she's got to go back up to the platform, do a rerun. These things happen. You know, sometimes someone could be talking to someone else. You see it out the corner of your eye, and you're like, are they talking to me? Are they saying stop? And it can have that effect.
You just got to look at the guy with the headset.
Yeah, go back
He
there.
gives you the thumbs up. That's it.
The bleacher, someone from the stands.
If someone else is skating on the deck, if someone's yelling from the stands, you just got to ignore it.
So, making her way back round. Starting position.
Looked a little distraught for a second.
Well, I think she's getting a bit distraught because she's going to add to this. She knows that she has to. It's 81.68, good enough for third place. She needs to jump mid-80s to be in with a chance to get through to tomorrow's final.
So this is not just an execution thing. She's going to have to add a trick.
Yeah, I think so. And it's going to have to be an improvement.
Yes.
Okay.
Same run, great execution, plus something.
Running onto the board, backside into the flat bank, boosting out that corner, tweaking that backside out, looking good so far.
She looks even smoother and stronger than run 1 and 2. Long front Smith in that corner.
Backside Smith grind, skating to Craig David as well.
It's
Wow.
a beautiful rock and roll slide into the deep end. Straight into a frontside feeble through the corner.
Up onto the flat bank.
That
Switching it up.
Switching it up.
Yeah, she said she's got 2 versions. That was the beam plant there. Onto the bridge, standing up on that frontside 50-50. Leaning a little bit back, choosing not to grind and carving into the deep end this time.
And let's see if she changes this last trick.
No, sticking with the backside on A melon. Taking it to the knee slide. So, if that had been a make, switching up the boneless for the beam plant, how do you think that would have affected the score?
I think it does improve her score by a marginal amount.
Yeah.
It's not something that will move the needle in the sense of you're now competing to win the heat.
Did amazing.
So 81.68 is the score, but 67.53 coming away. See those emotions running high. You're all good, Lola. You have shown the world just how amazing you are at skateboarding today. It's not over yet. Stay positive. It's half the battle as we take it over to Brazil's Fernanda Fanisi.
And you can hear the crowd from out here. It's electric. The Brazilians all stomping their feet on the bleachers.
Always make the most noise. So backside ollie, feeble grind, in forward.
Just a huge pump on the way out.
Big front 50-50. She stood up, almost put her hands in her pockets to check out the change.
This is the furthest we've seen her make it in a run.
Tuck knee.
Alley-oop 50-50, the first one we've seen in this comp.
And that's a classic one to throw you off as well. Frontside Smith grind through and into that corner. Setting up really well for that line over the hip.
Back lip on the small quarter pipe.
Backside tail slide. This has certainly got it. Just after time on that last hip, but she is hyped on that, so are the crowd.
You can see her front foot moving around a little bit on the back tail. But that just added style, I think.
Well, sitting in 8th with 11 points.
An improvement on the 11.
It's certainly going to be an improvement, but the pressure, how to stay calm and just trust the process and the training.
You know, and putting a run down, no matter what happens now, she's going to sleep so much easier knowing you did what you came here to do.
So,
alley-oop 50-50. It is so hard to lock your back trucks into place, but once you do, you're good.
Oh yeah, once it's in, you're good, but there's a narrow margin of not knowing that you're in it yet.
And it's frustrating because if you miss on the way in, the whole trick is done.
Yeah, for sure. And that back truck, if it doesn't go in, it's very, very difficult to get away with it and not fall off.
Time to think about it and be disappointed.
So 84.14, score to beat. Waiting for that score to pop through. Where's it going to be? Getting that full run is so important. 82.20, and jumping into third place position just ahead of Lola Tamblyn. Some tight scoring in that top four. And we've still got 8 more athletes to come, but Sakura Yosuzomi dropping in as last athlete and last run of our first 8 in women's semi-finals.
Really big frontside air. You can see her land super hard. I think it just messed up her speed, to be honest.
Yeah, she landed like off balance a little bit, and it just meant that she was coming down a lot harder on that transition. But when you're sitting in first place with a nice score of 84.41, you can afford to just step away. But you can never, ever get too comfortable, because we've got some of the biggest names in women's skateboarding still yet to come.
The next heat all qualified in the top 8 to qualify for semifinals, so they all have strong runs. And although I think some girls will be safe from heat 1, it's not guaranteed.
So let's check out those current standings. Dora ended up in last place, 8th, 66.43. Rui Sugawara, what a great performance, 78.87, seeing her in 5th. Lola, disappointingly, getting down into 4th place, 81.68. And our top 3, Fernanda Tonisi, 82.20. Isadora Pacheco, 83.09. And familiar name on top, Sakura Yoshizumi, 84.41. And she's going to have to sit now and watch the rest of our skaters go through heat number 2. So here's her first run, which was the highest score. See that lean tail slide down into the deep end, backside tail slide. And it's linking those heavy tricks together that sees Sakura on that first place spot time after time.
This is what it looks like when you have everything. Good use of the park. Difficult tricks, lip tricks, 540s, flip tricks. Nothing's missing.
Also, it shows the importance of getting that first run done, because that might be your only run landing.
It very well could be.
So we're going to get heat number 2 warmed up. We'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. Hello and welcome back to the seaside town of Ostia for the Park World Cup Rome. We have got great conditions here on the coast today, and moments away from getting heat number 2 started of our women's semi-finals. I'm Mark Churchill. I'm very happy to be joined by Michi Brusco today. And currently sitting in that first place position is Sakura Yosuzomi with that score of 84.41. Michi, what is it about Sakura that sees her in that first place position so often?
I mean, whenever you put someone in the bowl who's going to do 540s, heel flip indies, and back tails in the deep end corner, she's going to be hard to beat.
So let's check out that run. And it was her first run. That shows the importance of getting that first run done.
And just a great confidence builder for your entire contest career. If you know you can drop in and make a run, it makes it a lot easier to go to sleep the night before.
Lovely front blunt there. And then straight in, spinning that 5, crouching out the landing. But then she came back with the heel flip indie, and you can see both fists in the air there, super hyped. And it came down to that first run.
And she wants that execution improvement on the 540 if she does get through to finals.
So let's check out our start list for heat number 2. Starting off with Heike Ventura. Naya Lasso in there as well. Team Spain looking so comfortable at the moment.
And look for Nana doing a no-grab kickflip on the bank, but she's also trying to put a kickflip indie on the quarter.
Yeah, and only American in the mix, which is rare, is Lillian Eriksson. How do you think that's going to affect her?
She got 11th place in the semifinals, so missed finals. She has 2 tricks she wants to add this year to get over that hump.
Okay, you hear our on-site announcers clearing the decks, and we're getting ready for our first rider to be dropping in. Very excited to see what happens in heat number 2 and how they're going to react to what they've seen so far. They know where the bar's set with that 84.41 from Sakura. That's the score to beat to see yourself go through, but only 8 can make it through to tomorrow's competition.
I never liked watching the other heats, but I'll always check the scoreboard at the start of mine, see where we're at.
Yeah. We're going to be taking it to Team Brazil. Heike Ventura is going to be first rider in. If someone can beat that score, it's definitely Heike. She knows what it takes to get through and take the win.
To make finals is basically like trying to win the contest these days. That was a kickflip indie into the deep end. The camera got all funny, but I believe that was a kickflip indie.
Taking the frontside grab back out, and the 50-50 off the extension and over the elbow.
I really appreciate her strategy to put hard tricks at the beginning of the run while you have all your energy. It's an easy mistake to make, to put your hardest tricks way at the end. Feels less risky.
Alley-oop backside ollie, hanging on there and got a little bit squirrely, but looking good. Up to frontside lip slide into the deep end.
Great use of park with that fast backside carve straight into the front lip up into the deep end.
Landed well with speed, up to the backside lip slide.
And she's smiling through the end of this run.
Oh, you know what I was going to say, and that's going to count, but the slam's going to count.
That is going to count.
Not making your trick is going to count as well.
You know, when you see bails on easier tricks at the end of the run, it can literally be as simple as taking a deep breath in that long flat bottom and just resetting and treating it like it's a one-trick contest.
And sometimes you could just not do that last trick and jump out onto the platform.
Well, it's better than a bail.
Yeah. But,
you know, I think she missed her nose blunt in the middle of her run.
Yeah, and we've had confirmation that fall was within time, so it will be accounted for. So I'm sure we're going to get a great score with a bail.
Yes.
You know, everything was clean. The flow of that run, you know, the overall outlook, which is what it's all about.
There's not that much space between the scores in the top 4. But throughout this contest, I believe the judges will place skaters within 2 and 3.
Yeah, with a bail already in 7th place. So we know that a full run is going to be way up there. Okay, Hinano Kosaki from Japan. Looking so calm, focused, rolling in to get that line. Oh, starting it off so powerful.
That was a nice saran wrap backside air over the love seat.
And the frontside feeble through that corner. Look at the power. Carving round frontside so aggressively. Huge
Second place
540.
last year in this contest, and that's how. A huge 540 in the deep end.
Yeah, for sure. The background's really styly on the frontside Smith grind. Backside air back out into the midsection. Just eyeing up to get that line right. Frontside grind and eyeing back into the deep end. Oh, so many!
She's so nifty with that front foot through all these tricks. The saran wrap, the wraparound, the backside boneless. Trick to finish it.
And back to back. And to finish it off with a foot-on coping backside boneless. Really well executed, super fast. That is a really strong run.
That's arguably the best use of the deep end so far in this contest, considering that backside 540 was so strong.
Yeah, and you see that saran wrap to start things off. And being able to ollie that high out onto the flat bank shows just how well she executed that trick. And a huge 540.
I think that will give a lot of weight to a stand-up backside 5 that is as high as the one she just did.
And I mean, you can get caught up in that deep end, but back-to-back tricks, the judges are going to reward it. They have to. I think this is going to be up there. Waiting for that score to come through. Each skater's getting 3 runs, 45 seconds, but it will come down to the best run counting. And we're only taking 8 through to the final, Mitchie. Such a harsh cut. 82.74 sees us straight into 3rd place. And this is where you start to see those run 1 riders all slowly getting filtered out. Naya Lasso, someone who shows true grit and determination. And when I spoke to Alain Goykicher earlier, he said the word focus so many times, and Naya looking really focused as she drops in for run number 1.
The first thing I notice about Naya is her front foot position. She can drop it pretty low and turn it forward, so those Smith grinds and those kick flips and all those tech tricks start to come up.
Lovely backside tail slide. Back into that straight wall. Really good backside lip slide, keeping loads of speed.
5-0 fakie
Not
through
many
the
people
corner.
doing
I've
that.
never seen that.
Yes, there's the L twist in the deep end.
Big ollie up to backside blunt on the bank.
Well, you see some people just doing the tricks.
There's that overflipped kickflip in.
Overflip. But you see people doing their tricks on that flat bank. How much is it going to change that score if you ollie out to it?
If you ollie out from the coping into a blunt, it's simply so hard to aim for the spot that you want to hit. Your speed control has to be perfect. My favorite part about that is it comes out straight into a kickflip indie.
Yeah, and I think once that is maybe tidied up a little bit, and now the first run's out of the way, she can calm down and really focus on getting that kickflip indie done. But like you said, her front foot, that is telling everything, right? 74.41 coming through. So only USA skateboarding rider through to our semi-finals. Lillian Eriksson dropping in, 15 years old, taking that line front side onto the flat bank, setting her up really well for the big front side 50-50 across the bridge.
Clean frontside lip slide up into the deep end. Really good board placement on the lip slide.
Backside 50-50 to get that line back into the deep end. Just taking that Smith grind.
Front Smith. She's so tall. It looks great on those stand-up grinds.
Ollie blunt, half cab ollie blunt, L twist, front side end. That is like so many tricks back to back.
Over the spine. What a great use of the park too.
Yeah, still 10 seconds to go. Taking it over the spine, backside ollie onto the flat bank. I feel like there's room for improvement there, but getting the kickflip indie, no, robbed on the landing. Just couldn't quite stand up on that.
Those are the two tricks that she wanted to add to go from 11 to hopefully making the finals. That half cab blunt and the kickflip indie to finish.
I mean, it's going to do it for sure. I mean, the ollie blunt straight into the half cab blunt and the kickflip indie to finish it off. That is heavy.
I think the kickflip indie was just a matter of confidence. When you're not used to making it, your legs can just collapse. If you were to stand up and just hold on, yeah, you might get shot off the back anyways, but I think she rolls away from this.
I mean, I was ready to say that she'd landed it, but yeah, not quite getting away with it. Having a little lie down on the waterfall feature.
She has that. She has that in the bag.
Yeah. That's the shape of things to come.
Sometimes it's nice to take a slam, because you're like, oh, that's the worst that can happen. Let's stand up.
I like to get a slam done so that I can say that I'm fully warmed up and ready to go.
Exactly.
72.11, very reasonable score with a fall. So we know that's going to be way up there. She's going to be battling around that early 80s, I think, on that score. But
yeah,
still,
flip
two
trick
more
is going to make a big difference. Ticks a big box.
Okay, over to France's Nana Taboulet. Nana has been improving so much. Every single competition I see her go to, she's got a new trick and executing what she already does even better.
And she works hard in the off-season and just loves it.
Hear those back wheels screeching on the flat bank there.
Nice frontside Smith in the deep end and pumped straight into the bank. There's that kickflip no grab on the bank.
And still carrying so much speed on the way out of there.
That trick is going to weigh so heavy on this run.
Rail slider on that straight edge, frontside 50-50, taking it over the elbow.
A clean ollie out, landing with a really nice foot position.
I mean, that's the word, clean at the moment. This is all really, really well executed. I mean, it's a thing of beauty.
She looks strong, and she looks like she hasn't lost any energy throughout her run.
And making you feel like she's not doing much, but it's because she's so good.
That's exactly the balance that you want. If you don't know skateboarding, you want them to not even know it was hard.
Yeah, and Deshawn's hyped. Yeah. We're hyped.
You know,
I mean, that
legit.
had everything. We'll be seeing Deshawn next week in our street competition when we hit up the Coliseum. Definitely come and join us for that. As we wait for Nana's Run number 1, score to come through. Completed run. You can see it's almost relief on her face there. There's that backside kickflip. And it's how she executes it and comes through with so much speed, because it's not just getting the trick done, it's getting it done well enough to continue on with the rest of the run.
And that's what park skating is. It's connecting everything straight into the next one.
And the judges know that so well. They can tell whether it's something sketchy. They can tell if you're changing up your run because you haven't executed it well enough.
You have to learn tricks based on your line. No trick is done in a vacuum. The kickflip to a frontside carve is going to change everything about it.
Yeah, there's always a wall waiting for you.
Always a wall waiting.
Wow, new leader, 85.66. Francis Nanatabile jumping up there after run number 1. This is getting excited now.
Wow. And if there's anyone that's going to back it up,
yeah.
Teresa True.
For sure. Someone who knows how to swipe away that first place position is Arissa True, dropping in. Different line, straight into the deep end.
And she doesn't worry about her 540s. They're face high. She can stand up on the way out every single time. I was talking to her earlier. She skates vert and park every single day.
Up to front side, lip slide. That's the most popular trick, I think.
Big Madonna to tail. Straight into a back lip into the shallow end.
Boosting out of that corner pocket.
Indy 360 into the banks. Now she's coming in backwards.
Well, it sets her up for that.
Front side 360 stalefish.
Little rock fakie to get that line coming in. Switch.
Back to switch.
Whoa,
is that a switch invert? I couldn't tell from the angle. Or was that a switch eggplant?
Switch tuck knee, I think. Wow. I mean, flawless run. And that's a way to answer to that last run we saw from Nana.
There is something about Arissa where you look at that run and it's incredibly difficult, but I think she could do it on a cold Monday morning without skating for a week.
I think she could turn up here and do that first go. That shows just how good she is. But
Huge.
This is where we saw it. First big trick out of that run.
She's at the level where this is fun for her. She's out there playing around, doing all her tricks.
Well, I think on run number 1 for Arissa, it's just ticking the boxes. That one's done, that one's done, that one's done. Now I'm moving on. That was a hell of a crouch there.
Yep.
All smiles, waiting for that score to pop up on the scoreboard.
She has 2 areas that she can improve her run going into run 2.
And where are they?
The squat on the frontside 360 and then a rock to fakie on the bank. I think she wants to get up to a blunt or something like that.
Yeah, going to need to carry more speed into that one. I think this is asking a lot of the judges as well.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think they're going to be like, right, where does that sit?
Without much room between third and first place.
Exactly that. There's not much room in the top 3 at the moment. And, you know, watching what Nana did, it's 2 very separate runs that have got their own attributes, right?
Yep.
82.87. I thought that might be a little bit higher than Isadora, but okay.
I think that's a tough score, but you have to consider that she didn't flip her board.
No, and the rock fakie on the bank. It's
so there were execution issues, a couple throughout, but I think that buffs out quickly.
So rolling in backside into the deep end. Good way to start things off. Kicking that foot down. And back into, whoa, big 540.
Huge flat spin melon backside 5. That
Front
just personally is like my favorite style of 540.
Lean melon in that deep end. 20 seconds on the Indy air, slightly alley-oop.
She really skates like she means it. Big backside blunt slide through the corner. That is so hard to keep your balance and predict how sticky the coping's going to be.
L twist off the hip out of the deep end as well. So putting in the frontside Smith grind where we saw riders in heat number 1 just frontside 50-50 in it. That addition of harder tricks in heat number 2 is really being shown.
And it's all the way through heat 2. That's why they qualified in the top 8. And Mizuho just finishes with a backside 270 on the volcano, which we haven't seen anyone doing tricks around that corner. It's very awkward and hard to predict where you're going to land.
And what do you think it is about Team Japan that are so dominant?
Well, I think they have some of the best skaters in the world to look up to and to model. I think their training facilities are really strong. And honestly, I think the Japanese skaters specifically hold themselves to such a high standard of consistency and difficulty.
For
Truly, the difference is a mindset.
So, taking a glance over to our scoreboard, Rui Sugawara is on the bubble with a 78.87 and in that 8th place position. It's not looking good, but it's not over yet. Lola Tamblyn in 7th place. Fernanda Tonisi in 6th place at the moment. We're only in run number 1.
Yeah,
heat number 2.
That first heat leaderboard is starting to tick down the list pretty fast.
Yeah. So right for that score for Mizuho.
You already need a 78.88 to enter the top 8. That is a proper.
You know, that score being up there, 78.87. Wow, okay. 84.80 coming through for run number 1. That's a very comfortable place to be.
A very good score, and that I believe a lot of that weight comes from how big and how great that backside 5 is in the deep end.
Okay. Teammate Kokona Hiraki dropping in, taking a different line to start as well, not wasting any time, getting across the park. There's that very, very
stand-up nose grind across the love seat.
Backside ollie in the deep end, showing full control.
With a hitting your tail, floating, holding the board to your feet in the air.
I mean, that's why we see her in the finals quite often. Lovely frontside nose grind. No one else is doing that one.
Straight into a stale fish frontside disaster.
In the air, over the elbow gap. Oh, I love that one.
Smith, rock over.
That's some classic Andy Scott style stuff. Back crail in the deep end. Look how comfortable she is on her skateboard.
Smooth and comfortable. You can see just the immense talent in Heat 2. I think she's just putting this out as a feeler, as a gauge for where this is going to land her and what she needs to do to confirm her spot in the final.
I mean, Kokona is that prime example of when you look at someone, you know that they've spent a lot of time on their board, right?
Yeah. It's just a look that it's hard to explain. You could call it the X factor or whatever you want, but just pumping around, and you can see the way the trucks turn, how much power she gets in her pump. There's a lot of room there.
So there's that classic big backside nose grind.
That should be rewarded so high. That is one of the most difficult tricks in the entire run.
And then big backside ollie, making that look so easy.
I think the beginning of her run was super strong, and I think whatever tricks she has in her trick bag, she could put something right at the end, where if there's any trouble with this score, she can easily add 2 or 3 full points to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's going to play the game. She's going to put that one solid run down and make adjustments on it if she needs to. Remember, getting through to the top 8 is what everyone's after at the moment.
That is the holy grail. That is all you need right now, and that's all you should be focused on.
So, all eyes on the scoreboard. Waiting for that first run score to come through. It's hard to believe this is run number 1. We're seeing such a high level at the moment. 84.04. Way up there, but that does mean that Rui Sugawara and Lola Tamblyn have now been knocked out of being able to get through to the final. Fernanda Tonisi is now sat on the bubble, and that bubble score is an incredible 82.20. We are back to runs number 2. Kaika Ventura popping in, getting things started, backside 5-0 this time.
And she missed her last trick on her last run. Big kickflip Indy gave her trouble this time. She had it. Now she's in a tough spot. She's the defending champion. I know there's a lot of pressure. It's different when you come to a contest you're defending the title. There's more interviews, there's more media, there's more pressure. She just has to get to her last trick and put it down.
Something on that as well. I don't know if it did affect her because it looked like she didn't take off properly, but there was a big gust of wind. How much does that affect you when you're skating the deep end?
Too much speed is just as bad as not enough. And wind affects that more than you think.
Okay, Hinano Kusaki currently in 7th place, so she's in, but everybody wants to finish as high as they can through to finals. Yep, we're seeing the same beginning, big backside ollie, holding that speed.
Huge rock slide through the corner. Oh my goodness.
Slid out into the car park on that one.
That was like 7 tiles at least. And adding height on the backside 5.
You knew she'd landed that as she went down the waterfall. You could see it.
When you have enough speed on your 540s, it actually gets easier again. Where you're halfway through it, you know you're going to make it.
Easier for you, mate.
That's everybody, right?
Back in, over the hip. Oh, getting the Raptor tail slide. And the jar version. And Rek to finish it off. Solid run. And just a little bit of a sprinkling.
There will be a small point difference from her first run, I believe. And I think that is going to come from just fierceness, just pumping and going faster, and a small improvement on execution.
Well, that rock and roll slider all the way round. See that dip?
Did she do that in her first run?
I don't believe she did.
I don't think so. I just realized, so maybe we're looking at a couple points. Couple point jump.
I think this is what's clever about Team Japan as well. They play the game. She's saying, hey, judges, check this out. What are you going to give me? So now I know what I need to do in run 3, and I know what I need to do in finals, because she knows she's through. 82.70 for...
I believe this will knock Arissa True down a spot. Now she's sitting in 7th. Arissa is not safe yet.
No, I don't think so. But she knows what it takes. 83.55. So, yeah, you're true there. Jumping up a couple of positions. Okay, back to Spain's Naya Lasso.
We're looking at Naya Lasso to treat this backside blunt on the bank. Even though it's hard, treat it like a setup. Just focus on your front foot. Get ready for the kickflip.
So, coming through, loads of speed. Big backside Smith grind. You see her lifting up on the way in there. Little one-footed ollie as well.
One foot showing some extra control.
Tail grab. Not many tail grabs seen so far in the competition, or ever.
The trick selection is just beautiful so far.
Well, Coach Alain Goicoechea is definitely going to be there saying, hey, do something different than no one else is. And for prime example, that 5-0 to fakie. Oh, just missing the L twist there.
Wow, I didn't expect a bail on that trick specifically. I thought that part of her run was kind of cruisy.
And being in 15th position, the pressure is now on.
It's hard.
She needs a flawless run.
And she is hard on herself. We saw last year a lot of emotion coming out on bails, but she seems to get it together when it's time to drop in.
But there's that thing when you're a skateboarder and you know what standard you can skate at. And for some reason, sometimes you can't reach it. And you're just like, what is going on? I can do that every single time, and I have in practice. Why can't I do it in the competition?
You have to be okay with your B game and your C game, because that's what's going to show up most of the time.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly looking for your A game, it's going to be a hard world out there.
So we'll be relying on that third and final run. 71.41 the score she has, and that's only good enough for 15th. But needs to stay calm. What do you think Alain's going to say to her now?
Probably just try to calm her down emotionally. She really wears it on her face, and I think that's just a part of her style. But she needs to get control of that soon, right now.
Are up there in the aircon. Luckily, we've got Renton Miller heading them up. Nahuel Martinez from Argentina in there. Chloe Bernard from France. But the amazing Pat Duffy up there. Being judged by Pat Duffy would be an honour.
Well, and I think Naya actually is going to get some Pat Duffy points with the backsmith and 1 foot and tail grabs and back tail slides. Those things are really cool tricks.
Yeah, 59.76. It's not impossible, but she needs to shake it off and just go, that didn't happen. This is the only run I need.
It's just a kickflip ending. That's the only thing she has to focus on.
So Lillian Eriksson dropping in for run number 2 of 3. Starting off in the same position, taking it front side onto the flat bank.
With a decent score of 72, but she has a kickflip indie at the end of her run. That's going to make a huge difference.
That stale fish, tailboned over the coping, was a thing of beauty right there.
Stand up, front Smith through the corner. This is so great. Half cap blunt to fakie.
And staying on, did well to stand up off of that one. Taking it over the spine.
And she's fighting it now. The only thing in her head is stand up on this dang kickflip indie to finish your run.
Yeah, just coming through that corner into the deep end. Can we see it? Yes, we can. It wasn't just made, it was made perfectly.
And it looked great from takeoff. As soon as she caught it, you knew it had the energy where she was going to stand up no matter what.
Well, she got that front toe flick, right? And it just popped straight into her hand.
You don't have time to think. If you're wondering, it's too late.
Yeah.
Grab and go.
Well, it's motor skills. As soon as you've got it in your hand, you know what to do. Your brain takes over. Under your feet, let go. Stand up. Just stand up.
And you can never replicate the confidence you have in a contest. When you're in practice, you don't have that automatic stand-on-everything mentality.
No.
But the comp starts, and you can kind of forget about everything you were ever afraid of.
So, Fernando Tanisi from Brazil is on that bubble score, 82.20. It's not looking good for her. We're waiting for Lillian's first score to come through. 72.11 with the kickflip indie bail.
But that was considering a bail.
Yeah.
So if you look at the punishment for a bail plus a kickflip indie, it's going to be close.
Yeah. It's certainly going to be up there.
She can definitely go a little faster if she wants to add anything on her third run.
Yeah, and I mean, especially when you know you're through, you've got that kind of buffer to be able to go all in on that third run.
Yep.
But I think the judges are struggling with that one.
There it is.
Oh,
right
okay.
at the bubble spot.
82.60. That means she's in 8th place. Not a comfortable place to be. But Fernanda Tanisi now outside. And Nana Tabale gearing up for getting down. Dropping in midsection, taking it front side over the hip, boosting that front side air.
And she got such a great score on her first run from the no grab kickflip and all the speed on her lip tricks.
Frontside Smith grind, much better backside kickflip this time.
I haven't seen her bail that all week. Now she wants to add a kickflip in the deep end. I know this for a fact that she wants a kickflip indie so bad.
I love the sound of her tail hitting on that bank as well. Taking it through the corner pockets, keeping that speed. 15 seconds on the clock. Back into the deep end. Tweaking that backside air. Up to front lip on the way back out.
Backside nose blind. I think that was a late indie grab, but that'll count.
And the backside nose grind was in time as well. Full run from Nana.
I don't know if she wanted to grab on that backside nose blunt. I think she's being cheeky and smiling about it. But that's a great contest mentality. Don't get off your board no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, it was stalled for a while, but a change up. And I like that kind of like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to get a hold of it and pull it back in and get back into the deep end.
Currently, we have 4 riders from Heat 2 and four riders from Heat 1. No, how many riders from Heat 1 are currently in the top 8?
Well, that's a tough one. Isadora's in there.
Yosizumi. And
yeah. Oh, wow. Now jumping up into first place, 86.21. By some point, she was in face and just extending that lead by another few points. She's really, really asking some questions of the rest of the heat.
Yeah, she's really showing her cards, saying, hey, Arissa, this is what I got. I'll see you tomorrow.
But I really want to see what Arissa's going to be answering to that question she just asked.
Yeah, I want to see Arissa try to win this semifinal.
Yeah, big Weddle 5 to start things off.
Judo already making little improvements.
Back into the deep end, up to front lip, looking good.
Now there's a kickflip indie. That's going to make a big difference.
You saw her backhand getting ready to catch that on the flat bottom. Indie 3.
And now she stands up the Stalefish fakie front three.
Already a big improvement, I'd feel. There's the ollie blunt, keeping the speed
Those
this time.
aren't connected. When you squat out of the deep end, you won't have enough speed for the blunt.
Oh, wow, going fakie 5.
I don't know if she quite needed that, but I think that is the run she had in her mind.
Do you think maybe the line was different on the way in then? Because I don't know what happened. Or
I don't know why she decided to go fakie to fakie 5 to finish that one and not the first one. It seemed like she already made enough improvements where she would have been safe in the final.
Yeah, for sure. But 7th place, it's kind of a weird thing to see.
She is not safe.
So 73.23 with the fall. I mean, very good score anyway. And we know where that's going to go if she can get that fakie to fakie 5. Okay, back round to Japan's Mizuho Hasegawa. Currently second with an 84.80, looking to improve on that. Backside air to start things off onto the bridge, taking it into the deep end.
Just such a beautiful backside 5, grabbing high just under the front foot, tweaking out the back leg.
You can see her really looking over her shoulder to spot the landing on that.
Wow.
So 20 seconds, kickflip Indy. Not enough speed, I don't think.
I think that's just such a tight angle, carving out of that volcano, turning around and trying to get into the bank. But I don't think that bell bothers her very much. She's in a very safe position.
Also, look in the background, how much room you've got to take off on. It's an escalator that goes up, and there's not even a board's width to take off
at
on.
all.
So the margin of error is so small.
Not to mention carving backside in a kickflip foot position is opposite of what comes natural.
34.17 as we go round to Kokona Hiraki, last of our second runs. Getting that speed up, coming in towards the bridge. There it is. How easy is that for her?
It is such a hard trick that I can't imagine it being easy. Kickflip, backside 5-0 in the deep end. Are you kidding
Was
me?
that on purpose or an accident?
No idea. If that was, I think it must be on purpose, because if that was an accident, it was such a good 5-0
Yeah.
that I cannot see that happening just as a reaction.
The rest of the run, very similar so far. There's that frontside Smith, transfer over the spine. Good use of that spine coming back into the deep end. Rail slider.
Just the shock factor alone, I want to see how the judges react to that.
Airing over the volcano on the buzzer. I think the judges are going to, I mean, Renton loves a flip trick into a grind on vert ramp back in the day.
Who doesn't?
Like, that was heavy. You see that there? Whoa.
The epitome of transition skating.
You know, there's one thing scooping the backside airs and things, but what does it mean to do something so technical?
Well, look at how much control you have to have of your back foot to control the board on the way in and push it up against the coping in that perfect spot.
And do you know what? I think if her foot was further back on the tail, that might have been a hanger.
Well, that's how specific it is. It's 1 inch of room that you have, or else it's a disaster.
Well, 88.30 and new leader, Kokona Hiraki.
That's how risky and
Way
how
up there.
difficult that kickflip 5-0 smash is in the deep end. You don't see that.
So, looking very, very comfortable out there. I'm excited to see what she does for run number 3.
Heike is not in the finals as of now, so she's the only one who can knock Eriksson down a spot out of the bubble.
We know she can do it. Needs to compose herself.
It looks like she's having fun.
Chill a second. Yeah, and keep that smile going.
I think this run is going to be decided at the kickflip Indy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Very early in this run, we're going to know.
You can hear everyone screaming in the stands for her now. Running onto the board. Boosting into that flat bank to start things off. Backside 5-0 over the bridge.
A lot of speed and a good line.
There it is.
Huge kickflip Indy into the deep end.
That's going to be the power-up she needs to take through to the rest of this run.
And a nice frontside 50-50 on the flat wall, ollie over the hip.
Getting that board fully down on the Monty grind.
Just sticking with the backside air, trying to get a run down and seeing where it is.
Ali backside ollie to get that line back into the deep end with a frontside lip slide.
Lillian is biting her teeth right now in anxiety.
Backside lip slide.
This is what got her last time. She just needs to finish her run. Frontside 5-0. And
well played there.
We'll see what the judges do. A really nice kickflip indie. A lot of speed throughout the run. I'm very curious where this ends up.
Yeah, Lillian's going to be very nervous at the moment. She's got 82.60 on the board and sitting on that bubble position. Bubble meaning right on the edge of getting put down, and it's going to really put pressure and tighten the screw on that last run.
And there's not much room between Lillian and Arissa True as far as scores go.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting position if the judges are valuing her around that 7th or 8th spot.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you reckon that's going to bump her out?
I think it's going to be hard, but the judges are going to give it an 82.63 to put them in between.
Very accurate score.
Because you have to put her in between those two.
Yeah. Okay.
If that's the score, but I actually don't know exactly where they're going to put this. I think everyone's skating has improved so much from last year that we actually can't base it off of the run just last year. It's kind of a fresh set of eyes.
All eyes are on the scoreboard right now, apart from Heike. She can't look.
I don't blame her for that. She's just trying not to look. She wants a bubble.
Oh, no, there it is.
I used to compete on Mega Ramp against Volvo.
Whoa, 83. And that sees Lillian Eriksson bumped out of our top 8 with 1 run remaining. Arissa True on that bubble with an 82.87. It's going to come down to last runs.
I was 0.37 off.
Well played, mate.
On my score prediction. I'm sorry, guys at home, that
they're calling you out. What do you know?
That I didn't get it right. Won't happen again.
Hinano Kasaki getting stuck straight in. Starting off as we've seen for the last 2 runs and into the deep end. Big sliding rock and roll slider.
Board slide around the corner.
Taking it through those corners and back into the deep end.
Just a massive 540. I will never get sick of watching Hinano fly into the deep end like that.
Lovely from Feeble. Backside air, back out. Back Smith. Board fully locked down then.
I know skaters who would give an arm and a leg, well, not a leg, just an arm, for a front Feeble like that in the corner.
Wrap it into the tail slide. There's the jar version. Andrek to finish it off.
Very similar run as last time. I think that's just the mindset. Is like, I can get in there and do this. Why not?
Do you think that there's a little bit of gameplay by not showing your hand for finals when you know you're through?
It's hot out. You're going to be tired. Your legs are going to be sore tomorrow. There's really no reason. If you don't want to be dropping in last in finals, if you don't care about that, there's just no reason to worry.
Okay. 83.55, good enough for 5th place. Be surprised if it's an improvement. Bit of repetition, right?
I would be surprised. Her execution is strong every time. So I don't know what the differentiating factor was in that run compared to run 2.
84. So 5th place is where she's sitting right now. Isadora Pacheco is in that 6th place position. But the interesting thing is Arissa True so far down the heat and sitting in that bubble position, 82.
And Naya Lasso is one of the only riders in this heat that isn't in the finals yet. So she can bump Arissa out with this run.
Yeah, here we go. Naya Lasso getting ready. Do you think it's affecting Arissa, or do you think she's like, no, I've got it 3rd run?
I think the next 30 seconds is going to affect Arissa a lot. Whether Naya makes this run and knocks her out is going to be a big deal for what Arissa has to do.
So Naya obviously is going to be feeling that as well. Big backside Smith grind, ollie 1 foot.
Great front foot control. It always sticks out to be about Naya Lasso. It's what allows for these back lips, back disasters, backside tail slides and kick flips.
There's the backside lip slide. Taking the 5-0 to fakie round that corner.
This is what got her last time. Nice L twist. She's into the end of her run. Now she just has to get her front foot low right now to get ready for this kickflip.
That was really well done. Foot's ready. There it is. Getting it done this time. Back 50, ollieing in.
And ollie in out of that back 50 to finish your run.
Throwing her board down.
And that's the emotion. That's both sides of the emotion. When you make a run, I love that she is psyched for herself and lets herself feel that pride.
Mate, I've got to say, it's heavy. It's the emotion up there. There's a lot on the line.
And this is really asking a lot of Arissa True now.
I mean, let's not forget, there's $200,000 split between this competition.
She did the same thing last year, putting the kickflip indie down in her last run. Sometimes it's just, that's what it takes. Put the pressure on yourself and go away when it matters.
How much do you think that the Yoda socks help? Little bit of wings on the side of the feet there.
I didn't know. Oh, I didn't notice her lucky Yoda socks.
Okay, you got Arissa True down there.
Arissa knows that she has to make her third run now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's looking at the scoreboard, but the scoreboard doesn't actually matter. Arissa knows exactly what she has to do. As soon as that kickflip indie went down, Arissa went, okay, fakie to fakie 5's going down.
Lillian Eriksson is just outside in 9th place as well. It's going to come down to her third and final run, but 85.13, seeing Nia Lasso in 3rd place, and that really is shaking things up. Arissa True now in 9th place. Lillian Eriksson in 10th place, and Heike Ventura in that 8th place position.
No matter what Lillian Eriksson does, if she gets into finals, it actually doesn't change Arissa's strategy now. Arissa's out of finals, so she knows the run she has to do to get in. And she's not going for 8th or 7th. So wherever Lillian ends up, it doesn't matter, because Arissa's trying to get in that top 3.
Yeah. Okay, pressure is on right now, but she is all smiles. Lillian Eriksson dropping in, run 3 of 3 in our women's semi-finals. Started off with that frontside 50-50. Taking it into the deep end with the frontside lip slide off the hip.
Really smooth frontside lip slide, a big stale fish on the deep end. Backside blunt slide on the quarter pipe. Blunt stall, sorry.
Keeping that speed in the frontside Smith grind. Ollie blunt.
Stand up Smith. Half cap blunt. Really quick with that snap on the way in.
Looking a lot more comfortable, keeping a lot more speed and getting the frontside air. Taking it backside over that teardrop hip. Over the spine to tail. Where's she going?
There's something about it. I think the execution is a little stronger on this one.
Whoa! Getting it done!
You know what? She came here to do that run right there.
I think Heike Ventura has chewed off all of her nails right now. She's watching this happen. It is so gnarly on the bottom end of that hip, of the heat, sorry.
This could come down to a literal tie for 8th place, and that tie goes to the best 2nd score.
Yeah. I mean, it's nail-biting stuff down here on the park.
Yeah.
So, backside blunt. We saw that change up straight into
that was
that
not
front
in
side
her last
Smith
run, right?
So, yeah, I mean, that's what the judges are looking for. What are you going to do to change it?
With her better execution, plus a backside blunt on that quarter pipe, I don't think the judges have many options here.
What do you think went through her mind as she came down the waterfall for the kickflip indie? Do you think she was like, nah, I've got it? Or like, I have to do this?
I think everything is a bonus after her last run, because that's what she came here to do.
82.80 sees Lillian in that 10th place.
Just that 0.6 improvement. Just barely inching it up.
I mean, you can see the disappointment, but what a performance. That was a savage run. Okay, Nana Tabule currently in 2nd place with an 86.21 from run number 1.
And this is a great chance for Nana to either just redo a run exactly as is to get her reps up, or try something crazy. Yes, who cares?
I mean, you've got time on the bowl, which is rare. It's hard.
Yeah, practices are very short.
Kickflip and a half.
Kickflip to primo slide down the bank.
That's not where you want to be. So, Nana will be scratching that last run. Saying thank you very much to everyone in the crowd. Wow, it's getting quite loud out there in the stands.
And you know who we have next.
Yeah, Arissa True will be up next, and it's all coming down to that third and final run for Arissa, currently in 9th place, 82.87 on the board.
Let's go, Arissa!
This is heavy. As I say, currently 9th, 82.87. And Kaika is there in the crowd, having to watch this to see whether Arissa is going to make a full pull.
And Arissa looks calm, cool, and collected. She's just got the eye of the tiger. This situation doesn't scare her.
Yeah, that's why she's so lined up for this. To the deep end, the frontside lip slide off the hip.
Such a clean kickflip indie in the deep end.
She had that on her feet so high, just cruised through the indie part of it.
She looks like she has a lot of confidence. She's not wavering at all between trick, 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 and it's all happening so fast. She has the speed for the blunt.
Yeah, for sure. Molly Blunt.
And now she just needs to breathe, grab this board, and fight for it. Great choice to put the switch invert instead of the fakey 5.
Do you think Coach maybe got in there and said, hey, ditch the fakie to fakie 5. It'll be enough if you do the switch invert.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That is what can come from having a good coach, knowing, hey, you added the kickflip indie. You don't need to add 2 things at once to get a 0.23 addition to your score. That kickflip indie will do it.
I mean, it's quite easy to get caught up, especially when it's important as that.
And you know you're capable of just winning.
Yeah.
A part of you always wants to do that.
It is getting very close out here in Ostia for our women's semi-final, Park World Cup 2025 Rome. You can see Heike down there, all smiles, possibly the most recognizable smile in women's skateboarding.
She knows that her opportunity to be in finals is really close to being cut off.
I mean, I would love to see both of them go through, but there's only room for one.
There's just no way to cut it. There's a heartbreaking bubble cut line late in every contest.
84.87, seeing Arissa True jump into 4th place. And that unfortunately means Heike Ventura is now in 9th place and outside of our finals. So Mizuho Hasegawa, currently 5th place, 88.31 on the board.
Already confirmed in finals. So she has a lot of room to do whatever she likes.
Oh, that was so close to a hang-up, right?
Yeah, that can happen when you're stuck between going for it and not. And since you're already in finals, I think you need to make a decision. And am I trying to win this semifinal, or should I just carve around and take it to tomorrow?
I mean, doing a passe backside 540 is not what you need to do.
Exactly. It can bite you very quickly.
7.66. And we're staying with Team Japan, Kokona Hiraki, 3rd and final run, and our current leader. Back in, we can see this big nose grind. Yes, we are every time. I think that was maybe a few inches longer.
Every single time.
Ooh, that was close to the coping again.
Just got wheel that time. Oh. I don't think she got truck.
She's dicing with death on that one. Keeping the speed, front side through those corners, up to front side nose grind. Stalefish Disaster does that so well. She is so comfortable.
Her footwork is insane. There's a difference between just being strong and being very technically sound to an elite level.
front side over there. And I mean, it almost looks not that dramatic because she is so comfortable. And her arms aren't flailing around trying to stay on. It's all very calculated and calm.
She is calm, cool, and calculated. When you have the tricks that give you the ability to skate a bit slower and score very high anyways, it can set a calmness over your run that is just hard to replicate.
Yeah, when you're clear 2 points in the lead, that is somewhere to stay calm as we're waiting for that score to come through.
It's funny, in your run, you might not notice a single camera, but as soon as you pop out on the deck, it's like you see them all.
Yes, then at 88.30. Let's check out those final standings of our women's semi-finals. 2 heats have gone through, and we have seen some amazing skateboarding already at our World Cup park. So Isadora Pacheco, 8th place, 83.09. And then in the middle at the moment, we've got Mizuho, Arissa, and Naya, all hovering around that mid-80s score. But second place, Nana Tabale, who has put on a great display of skateboarding so far. And first place by some 2 points, Kokona Hiraki. Riker, unfortunately, just missing getting through to final with 83 points. Lola was skating so well, but 81.68. Julia Benedetti not being on that form that we've seen before, 77.45. And Dora Varela down there in 16th place with a 66.43. I want to see those top 3 runs, Mitchie. We have seen some incredible skateboarding so far. It is really ramping up out here in Ostia, Rome.
Heat 2 really showed out today. They came ready to do it.
Yeah, Naya Lasso putting a great display on, third place.
An emotional roller coaster, going from 2 bails to making her kickflip in on the last trick of her 3rd run.
Well, it's so hard to compose yourself when it's all on the line, but she did really well and finished out that run with the ollie in from 50-50 off the extension. And then Nana Tabale.
And you notice the top 2 skaters, what did they have in common? They had a kickflip no grab in their run.
I mean, the judges are saying, hey, this is what you need to do, and I think people need to take heed of that. But changing it up with that backside nose blunt, pull in. And then current leader, first place, through to our finals tomorrow, the ever-amazing Kokona Hiraki.
I could watch her skate all day long with those nose grinds, the backside flips, the stale fishes.
Yeah, and she's going to step it up for tomorrow's final, only taking the top 8 through. She's going to have the luxury of watching everyone skate and know what she needs to change to stay out in that first place position.
When you're that rock solid, dropping in last in finals is actually a good thing.
And getting through to the finals tomorrow means 15,000 points just for 8th place.
Wow.
So that ranking is going to change, and it's becoming very important to be able to release those spots when there's so many riders from one country through to the top 30. And tomorrow we will be introducing that golden run for the top 5. They'll get another bite at the cherry to change their positions. So there you have it, our women's final tomorrow. Kona out in that first place position, so we'll be riding last. Isadora will be kicking things off, followed up by Hinano. Now, I think Naya Lasso is going to be really stoked to have got through right on that last run. And I'm really interested to see how she goes through to tomorrow's finals. But still to come, we have our men's semi-finals. 2 more heats of 8 to go. And you are definitely going to want to join us again shortly. We'll be back 6:30 p.m. with heat number 1, followed up by heat number 2. In around an hour. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you then, Mitchie. It's been great so far. Can't wait to get stuck into our men's.
at 3 p.m.
Mi raccomando, amici che ci state seguendo,